For this design, we recommend that you check down below in the description for a link to the PDF instructions. To my left, I have all the parts necessary for a 4-level Jumbo U walk-in design with a 2-level animal barrier. On the instructions, you'll find a detailed list of all the parts necessary for each level variant of this design. To connect your boards and brackets, take a bracket and slide one onto either end of your board until the snap lock hole is lined up. Once you have the hole lined up, take one of your snap lock plugs and lay it flat onto that opening. Then with the palm of your hand, apply firm pressure until you hear a click. Now flip the board around and repeat this step on the other side. If you're having trouble installing the snap lock plugs by hand, you can also use a hammer or mallet to install them. If you think that you've installed your bracket in the wrong orientation and you need to remove it and flip it around, you can do so using a flathead screwdriver. Take the flathead screwdriver and insert it into the opening on either side of the snap lock plug. Insert it and apply firm pressure into the snap lock plug and then twist up. Then flip it around again and repeat this step. Firm pressure into the nub and twist up. Now you can remove your bracket and flip it around. The boards for this design will be bracketed with either stacking brackets, midsection 4-way brackets, or top 4-way brackets. Connect the boards for the first level of the Jumbo U design, referencing the diagram on screen now. Once you have all the boards bracketed for the first level of your design, lay them out flat on the ground in the shape of that base level. Reference the diagram in your instructions for how to lay out each of those boards. Now it's time to connect the boards for the first level of your design. To do this, prop up your boards and then insert the stacking stake upside down into the joint. And what this will allow you to do is this will allow you to set up the base level of your frame and then make adjustments so that you can get that perfect squared shape on your design. Now take the crossboards for the second level of your design and lay them out in the place that they'll eventually be installed. Take those boards and place them over the upside down stacking stakes. What this will do is it'll allow you to adjust the shape so that you have the perfect distance for your crossboards once you get to that level. Now, the last step before you hammer in the stakes for the base level of your design is if you built your frame on a sloped surface, make sure to level out that surface by shimming stones underneath the joints that need to be raised. Once you've made the final adjustments to the base level of your frame, and with the crossboards still inserted upside down on the second level, flip over all the remaining stacking stakes and hammer them into a ground using a rubber mallet or a hammer. Once you've hammered in all the other stacking stakes, you can remove those crossboards for the second level and flip over those stacking stakes and hammer them into the ground. Connect the boards for the second level of this design, referencing the diagram on screen now. Once you've hammered in all the stakes for the first level of your design, lay out the boards for the second level of your design around the perimeter of that base level. Reference the diagram in your instructions for where to lay out those boards. Once you've laid out all the boards for the second level of your design, start connecting that second level at your gate joint. Start with that gate board on the bottom of your joint stack, followed by the 4-foot board with the midsection bracket, and then the 4-foot board with the top section 4-way bracket, And you can secure all this together with a stacking stake that will insert into the top of your ground level stake. Reference the diagram on screen now on how to connect the boards for the third level of your design. Lay out the boards for the third level of your design like you did for the second level while referencing the diagram in your instructions. Connect the boards for the fourth level of your Jumbo U design following the board layout that was used for the second level. The board count will be exactly the same as it was for your second level of your design. Lay out the boards for the fourth level of your design in the same pattern that you did for the second level. Reference the diagram for the second level when laying out those boards. Once you've installed the final level of your design, we recommend that you fill your design with soil before installing the animal barrier. Once that's done, the next step is to install an adapter cap onto each of the outer joints and a finishing cap without a hole onto the 4 inner joints of your bed. To assemble the left animal barrier gate, start with part 2 and insert part 5 spacer sleeve on top. Then follow up with part 3, and then finally put on your joint cap to finish that joint. Now you can insert this whole joint on top of one of your round tubes, part number 20. Next, take part 7 and insert it onto the round tube, and make sure that it is in the same orientation as your connector up here. This will allow your gate to be flat and even. So insert part 7 onto the end of this pole and slide it up about 6 inches onto the pole. This will act as your bottom gate hinge. Next, take 2 of the longer square tubes, part 18, and insert them into the square opening on your top and bottom joint connectors. Insert them until you feel them hit the back of the joint. Finally, take the shorter square tube, part 17, and 2 L connectors, part 9, and connect them together. Have part 9 face the same way on both ends, and then you can insert this whole tube piece onto the end of your frame. For your right gate, start with part 2 T connector and insert onto it the gate hinge part 4. And slide this all the way to the bottom of the T connector. Now take part 5, spacer sleeve, insert it on top of that, and then finally cap it off with the joint cap part 13. Now insert this whole joint on top of the short round poles part 20. Now take part 6, the bottom right door hinge connector, and slide that onto the bottom of the round tube. And once again, slide this on about 6 inches up to the pole, and then put part 8, the spacer sleeve, on top of this. And slide this on until it meets with your bottom hinge connector. Make sure that the orientation of this hinge connector is the same way as your top gate connector, and this will again line up that right gate. Take two long square tubes, part 18, and insert these into the square openings of your bottom and top hinge. Now take the shorter square metal tube, part 17, and insert onto it part number 10. This will usually come already connected in your kit, but if it doesn't, just slide it on. And then connect two L connectors, part 9, onto either end of this tube in the opposite direction of your gate latch. And then insert these L connectors into your existing right gate frame. For the Jumbo U design, you'll install 3 animal barrier gates onto the top of the frame. You'll have one gate in the center, walk-in area. You'll have one gate in the back left, and then you'll have one gate on the back right of the bed. For the front section, you want to install them without installing the netting onto the gate first, and then for the back left and right gate, you can install the netting before you put them onto your design. So you'll just take that frame and push it into the hole of the adapter cap, and then you'll do the same for your right gate as well. Now, take your gate-to-board connectors and the screws provided, and while using a power drill, drill them onto either side of the top gate board so that you can lock that animal barrier gate in place and have your animal barrier fencing swing with your gate board. For a 3-level and 4-level design, you'll use a metal gate brace and the screws provided, and fasten that metal gate brace over 2 of your gate boards so that the screw holes don't overlap with where the boards meet. For a 3-level design, you'll just need 1 of these metal gate braces per gate panel, and for a 4-level design, you'll need 2. The next step is to assemble 2 more left and right animal barrier gates with the netting attached and install them onto the back left and the back right of your design. For each level of animal barrier that you choose for your garden bed, there will be 3 animal barrier gates. The next step is to take 6 of your short round metal tubes, part number 20, and insert them into the remaining joints around the perimeter of your bed. Next, you'll take 6 of your part number 2 T connector and 6 of your part number 1 L connector and insert one of these on top of each of the round poles that we just installed. When you're inserting them onto the poles, start with your part number 2, the T connector, and insert that so that the arrow on the connector faces down into the bed, and then you'll insert an L connector on top of that. Now, take 9 of your part number 19, the 4-foot round metal pole, and insert those over each of the 4-foot board segments. Now, take your netting pieces and install them around the perimeter of your design. Reference the netting layout that is in your instructions. Start by putting 2 2-foot pieces on the front panel of the gate, and then take the 3 12-foot netting pieces and wrap those around between each of the 3 gates. If there's any excess netting hanging off of your garden bed, you can take a pair of scissors or clippers and trim that off. If you're installing a 2-level animal barrier, the installation will be almost exactly the same. The only difference is when you're installing your animal barrier gates, you'll take a part number 22 and insert that onto the pole of that gate section before you install it onto the second level. This sleeve will act as a spacer sleeve so that your second level animal barrier gates will have a free swing. If you have any questions on this instructional video, please email us at support@frameitall.com.
Frame it all.